The greatest power you can wield is not found in persuasion, but in absence.
Why exhaust yourself with the clumsy mechanics of language when the human mind is so exquisitely designed to fill silence with desire?
True obsession is never earned through stated facts or explicit promises.
It is built in the negative space, the vacuum you create that they must rush to fill.
You do not speak. You simply become the unresolvable question they cannot stop answering. Consider the inherent weakness of the word.
A statement is easily challenged, a promise easily broken.
But silence is a canvas for projection.
When you withhold the clarifying information, the affirmation, the rejection, the definition of the relationship, you force the target to supply their own meaning, and the meaning they supply is always rooted in their deepest, most vulnerable needs. Is there any prison stronger than the one we build for ourselves, using the bricks of our own fantasy?
The architecture of obsession relies on cognitive dissonance and the principle of scarcity.
It is not enough to be present. You must signify value by controlling access. This is the shadow doctrine, a concept whispered by the political architect centuries ago, yet universally applicable to the human heart.
Machiavelli understood that love, when given freely, is a commodity with a fleeting shelf life. But calculated fear, the fear of loss, the fear of misunderstanding, the fear of the truth you might reveal, that is eternal.
The non-verbal contract of obsession begins with the subtle manipulation of psychological discomfort.
We seek closure. We crave resolution. When you systematically deny the target a stable framework for your identity, you induce a low-grade emotional fever. They begin to dedicate cognitive resources, time, thought, emotional energy, not to you as a person, but to the puzzle you represent. This investment quickly becomes self-reinforcing. They must solve the puzzle because the sheer effort expended demands a payoff. This is the genesis of fixation. Freud and Lacan spoke of the lack, the fundamental hole in the self that drives desire. When you present yourself as a figure defined by subtle withdrawal, by a curated ambiguity, you become the mirror reflecting their own internal void. They don't become obsessed with you. They become obsessed with the perfected, idealized version of satisfaction they project onto your silence. You are merely the vessel for their longing. And because that longing is infinitely complex, your silence must remain equally complex.
The modern application of this doctrine is terrifyingly effective in an age saturated with data.
When every signal is loud and explicit, calibrated subtlety becomes a lethal weapon. The digital realm provides new avenues for silent warfare. Think of the unanswered text message left for precisely the correct duration. It is not merely ignored, it is elevated. It transforms from a routine communication into a psychological event, forcing the recipient into cycles of self-doubt and heightened anticipation. You have made yourself scarce, not through physical disappearance, but through controlled signal density. You have become the digital ghost, perpetually present in their thoughts, yet perpetually unavailable for resolution. Let us dissect the precise mechanisms. To become the silent focus of obsession, you must master the 5 silent pillars. Pillar 1, the calibration of gaze.
The eyes are the most direct yet most easily manipulated instrument of nonverbal control. Your gaze must not be comfortable. It must carry the weight of something held back. When engaging the target, your eye contact must be intense, bordering on invasive, but meticulously brief. This creates immediate cognitive dissonance. What did they see? What did they interrupt? The effect is the silent implication that the moment they craved, the moment of true connection, was there, but they failed to grasp it. You force them into analysis of your withdrawal, not your presence. Pillar 2. The architecture of absence.
Obsession thrives on proximity to withdrawal.
You must engineer your departures with precision. Never allow a social interaction to reach a natural, comfortable conclusion. Always be the one who leaves first, and always leave when the emotional temperature is rising. The moment the target feels a surge of warmth, understanding, or anticipation, that is your exit cue. You must leave them standing in the doorway of gratification, still tasting the air, but unable to enter the room.
This withdrawal should be subtle and entirely functional.
No grand declarations, merely a quiet shift in focus, a slight nod, and a movement toward the periphery. Your absence must feel like a missing limb, noticeable, painful, and immediately demanding replacement.
Pillar 3. The echo of ambiguity.
Your emotional landscape must be a fog. Refuse to give them the solid ground of knowing your emotional state.
When they offer a joke, a vulnerability, or an observation, your reaction must be carefully modulated to suggest more than one interpretation.
A slight, almost imperceptible curl of the lip can mean amusement, condescension, or private understanding.
An elongated pause before a neutral response signifies either profound consideration or utter indifference. The ambiguity compels them to review the interaction repeatedly, searching for the single clarifying signal.
Since the signal does not exist, they will manufacture it based on what they most fear and what they most desire.
You are forcing their own psychology to write your character arc.
Pillar 4. Proxemic intrusion and retreat.
Proxemics is the study of space, and space is power. Obsession requires the violation of personal boundaries, followed immediately by their cold, calculated reinstatement. During an interaction, you must allow yourself a momentary, unexpected slip into their intimate space, a brush of the forearm that lasts a fraction too long, leaning in to whisper something entirely mundane, momentarily closing the gap until you can perceive their change in breathing.
The intrusion signals intimacy, privilege, and access.
But the instant that connection is established, you retreat, not abruptly, but seamlessly, returning to a detached formal distance. The target is left feeling the ghost of connection, wondering if the initial intimacy was a mistake, an accident, or a profound secret invitation.
This push-pull generates profound psychological oscillation, guaranteeing their focus.
Pillar 5. The signature detail.
You must anchor their fixation to something tangible, yet nonverbal, that exists only in your orbit. This is not about expensive clothing, but about a deliberate signature marker.
It might be a unique, singular scent that they associate only with your fleeting presence. It might be a specific, unusual gesture, a way you adjust your cuff, or the idiosyncratic manner in which you handle a simple object. This detail must be consistent but rarely visible. It acts as a subliminal reminder.
When they encounter that specific aroma or see that particular gesture in someone else, the memory of your carefully constructed ambiguity floods back, compelling them to reconnect with the source of the discomfort.
You are creating a psychological tether, ensuring that external stimuli lead them back to your silent image. These pillars, executed with cold detachment, create a figure who is never fully present, never fully absent, and never fully defined. The target begins to assign extraordinary value to the moments of proximity, believing that the key to your complexity, and thus their own satisfaction, lies just beyond their grasp.
The crucial constraint in this operation is control over your own emotional needs.
You must suppress the urge for verbal validation. Speaking is a release valve. It dissipates the pressure you have so meticulously built. The moment you define the relationship, the obsession dissipates and settles into mere affection or comfortable routine. You must maintain the status of the prize that is perpetually being pursued but never claimed. Now a word of necessary warning, a defense perhaps for those who find themselves trapped in the gravity well of a silent manipulator. If you recognize this architecture, you must understand the nature of the game. The figure generating this silent obsession is, by necessity, a solitary and often unhappy entity. To maintain this level of calibrated, emotionless ambiguity requires constant self-denial and the rejection of genuine intimacy. They are addicted to the power of the chase, but they are terrified of the destination. For the destination, true closeness, would reveal that they are not the ideal object they project. They are merely human. If you are the target, your liberation lies in recognizing that you are pursuing not a person, but your own projected ideal. The solution is simple, though difficult. Refuse to fill the silence. Stop generating the answers. When the manipulator offers their signature detail, their calibrated gaze, or their precise architectural absence, meet it with the genuine, uncomplicated indifference of someone who sees a mechanism, not a mystery. Do not chase the shadow. Let the vacuum remain empty. True freedom is found when you refuse to invest your mental resources in solving a puzzle designed solely to consume you. The question you must ultimately answer is this: is the fleeting, icy satisfaction of control worth the permanent exile from true human connection? For the architect of silent obsession, the answer is usually yes. And that is the most uncomfortable truth of all.